Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Austin, Michael, and I are back for week 4 of Australian Survivor Redemption, much sooner than the last one. We're here to talk about Redemption Beach. We're here to talk about all the craziness and betrayals. So, what are your guys' general thoughts on this week of Australian Survivor Redemption?
I personally thought it was pretty good. I was entertained. I did not expect what they were gonna do with the twist in the second episode. I thought it was gonna go a little differently. So I'm okay with it after I watched episode 3, but oh my God, I was getting really nervous for something way different. But anyway, I thought it was good. I guess another classic event of the same damn tribe going back to back and just watching them chaotically and very messy just target each other. So yeah, very interesting. I think episode 12 was like crazy to me what happened on it. I don't know why the events happened that happened, but yeah, good week for me.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy that betrayal, as we'll get to for sure. Michael, your thoughts?
Well, there's one thing I love. It's being proven right. And I hate to say I told you so, boys, but just call me Nostradamus because I sat here on this podcast last week and said that was the chance to take out Mark. That was their shot and they should have taken it. And they would have had complete control of the tribe. And lo and behold, chaos this week. But I loved it. And people get annoyed about the non-eliminations. I have, like we all have. It's frustrating, but in terms of non-eliminations, this is one of the best that they've done in terms of the content it created. And yeah, this was like a solid. This might be my favorite week. Both elimination episodes were huge blindsides, huge moves, and the non-elimination episode, yeah, no one went, but it set up so much for the following episode. It was like 11 and 12. It was a 2-part episode, and I have no issues. Really good week.
Yeah, how they ended up handling it, as I'm sure we'll get to, ended up working out. So I can't be too upset about it. So, yeah, let's get into the episodes themselves. So we got episode 10, and I think let's kick this off with the What's in the Box reward challenge, the auction, or their version of the auction, which I love that they reinvented the auction in this way. And the highlights, we got Caleb tricking Jackson into getting a boiled egg. We get Brooke lying her ass off. She had such great acting. Like, I was like, oh, is Brooke being genuine? No, she just played was it who was it that she played really hard? I'm sorry.
It was Sally?
I think it was Sally, yeah. So but yeah, the really good stuff. What were your guys' thoughts on this?
There was no carrot. That was my big thing from last week. I wanted it to be a carrot because it's carrot in a box. But yeah, really fun. Like, I think this week in general, the challenges were really creative and fun. I love this one. It's a bit more interesting than just a regular challenge. It does bring some gameplay in it. It ruins people's standings socially, the way people see each other. So like, I think Brooke's always seen as like physical threat, but anyone that's really watched her knows she's more than just a physical threat. But this was a real clear example that no, she's a really good manipulator when she needs to be. And yeah, this was like straight out of like Dirty Harry's playbook or something, like something he would do. It's not something I expected Brooke to do, to lie about something really personal and then like bring out that real emotion that she's obviously feeling from missing her family at home. Loved it, love it, pure chaos. Also, I did love Lottie asking Keely, "Are you working with Mark or for Mark?" I thought that was a really good Savage line, and maybe I didn't think about it till just now, but maybe a precursor for the absolute fallout that was to come from that tribe and that entire alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a good challenge. I enjoyed it. I guess not too many new notes to it. Michael pretty much hit all the good ones on the head. I am interested in this whole Jackson and Caleb plot that has been kind of
Yeah.
masterminded up. Caleb does not give a a damn, dude. It is cracking me up. This guy, absolute gremlin. He is screaming at the chops, eating the food, and you can just tell Jackson is so beyond mad that he screwed up. It was so funny. But yeah, Faith cracks me up on this in this one too. She's so funny, like such good TV with Faith. Outside that, yeah, it was just a fun challenge. So
Yeah, I love this. So it's something that US Survivor should do, but we probably know they won't. So like,
rats.
yeah, rats. Unfortunately, they don't like the drama that comes from this. Apparently, they'd rather people lose their votes. Which I guess Australian Survivor kind of did anyway, but they did it in a much better way. So
You saying
all right.
you'd rather just watch 20 minutes of a country artist to timeline this? I say no. Give me the drama of Carrot in a Box, thank you.
Oh boy, we'll get.
You don't want to see an Australian like artist on the screen for 10 hours? No, dang.
Mr. Beast, apparently.
Oh my. All right, so then we get back to the camps, and so this is where Blanche God, I can't say her name right now. Apparently,
we're all gonna get caught, bro. She's gonna be so fucking done.
I'm not, because Blanche is a totally normal name. Is it not in America? Like, it's so funny seeing you guys struggle with the name Blanche every time.
I've never heard the name before, I'll be honest. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh
no.
Canceled.
Maybe it's our generation, but I don't know. So Blanche ends up getting a clue to the idol in her sandwich, and so this is where Aisha ends up helping Blanche get the idol and holds on to it. And obviously, this is gonna end up backfiring later on, as we will get to.
Oh my god!
Oh, I love the setup for it.
This is so insane. Like, I'm happy for her that she finds it in her peanut butter. Like, she's someone I've been interested into seeing a little more in depth, and they definitely have been giving her more in depth. So, I mean, she's a character for sure. She almost like kind of reminds me of how I feel like my mom would be out there, a little more abrasive out there. Like she's not afraid to like just say whatever's, kind of coming to her mind. And I kind of like that with her. And she goes right to the person I thought she would have went to get, search for this idol. And they find it, so it's like it's a win for now, right? But we know what happens. But yeah. For now, they have an idol.
I just don't understand why. Like, why was Aisha the keeper of the idol? Like, why was it necessary for? Why couldn't Blanche just have it? She kept saying like, oh, she needs to keep hold of it. But why? It's your idol. Just hold on to it yourself, and maybe you won't end up watching it leave the game with the sad look of a a depressed puppy at the end of the episode. Like, just hold on to your idol.
Yeah.
You know what? That is weird because they do kind of like monologue it to like she's gonna be the holder of this idol and Blanche doesn't care or whatever. I'm like, I don't understand why you just never asked for it.
Michael,
would you say Blanche is blasé?
Oh my god! I was like,
I'll just say everything but how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think maybe it was a thing of like Aisha was really cocky and like was able to just somehow convince Blanche to be like, hey, I can hold on to your idol, and then like very cocky being like, okay, I'm in control of this game now. I got someone to give me their idol, and now I'm like, I'm gonna rule this game. So I definitely think that was probably what happened. And I don't know, like I don't think Blanche is really like the best strategist on this cast. So I think that's probably it. So yeah, we get to the immunity challenge now, unless you guys have anything else before that. But we do have the immunity where they are tethered together, and then they have to navigate the ball to the end of the maze. And this is where Aisha really wants to throw this challenge, and she succeeds. And throwing challenges backfires almost every single time. You either lose the momentum, like Zapterra on Redemption Island, or it will backfire on the person that is completely doing it in that episode. So.
I just disagree. I've never. I feel like we've always disagreed on the throw and challenges argument. I think it's totally fine if you really do know the dynamics and it's beneficial for you to do so. It often backfires because people have misread the situation so catastrophically. I'm all for throw and challenges, but only if you're actually in control. This time, it's a disaster. I did want to say I love this challenge. I thought the table maze was really cool. I'd never seen that before. I feel like it's brand new. Like we've seen variations of it, but the passing the ball between several of them, it looked really hard. Aisha was thrown, but I think it's believable that someone would struggle with that challenge. I'd have been a mess, but I really liked it.
Yeah, that challenge was fun. Like that's one I would be really like wanting to play. Because you literally have to mechanic it with two people, and we've seen ones where it was kind of like a whole team, tried to play along with it, but this one was a different, skill, different maze, different way of getting it across, and it was with two people only. And also, why is she throwing the freaking challenge? Like, yeah, I kind of get like you think you're in control, you think Brooke's going home, but like, wouldn't you kind of like at least somewhere in your head think that maybe she does have the idol and that, I guess the backup plan's Ben, but like Brooke has people. I mean, I don't know. It was just a funny throw to me a little bit, but I guess from her POV, she probably thought she was, holding the strings, puppet master. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting to me.
Yeah, I think she just thought she had enough numbers regardless if Brooke played something that Ben was going to go, and she completely misread, as Michael said. Like she misread the entire situation. So yeah, I don't think Aisha had a good read on the game at all, as we'll get to.
Yeah, like honestly, like my kind of is right in the way of like this was probably a good throw, to be honest. I mean, you want to get rid of Brooke before the merge because you know how lethal she is. So like, I mean, to be honest, it was like I was okay with it. It was just strange to me because we're watching and you're watching it build up to her and Cameron are kind of just on the bottom, like of that 5. So it was kind of just funny to watch the throw.
I do think it's also really well played by the Beauty and the Beast in that this isn't like a 2-day alliance, 3 days. This kind of thing has been brewing now since the throne challenge. Like it's been almost a week Brooke's been on the bottom. So they've managed to keep this thing under wraps because Aisha did have a really good read on the game up until the Beauty and the Beasts came along. Like she was in a really good position and she just didn't see the winds of change that blew through camp. And so when you look at the numbers on the other tribe, like their numbers are dwindling fast. At that point, you do have to start looking at merge and go, right, is there anyone here that we'd rather not go with? Like I get her wanting to do it, but I think the Beauty and the Beast just really fun alliance, and they got it. Well, they're gonna get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to say also with this challenge, I completely agree with you guys. It's fun. I feel like it's sort of we talked about like they've done something similar, like Titans versus Rebels. They had the whole tribe trying to pass the ball together in that one, and I feel like it's a fun little take on this type of challenge, so that we don't normally see now in US Survivor either. So
I did also want to mention something Michael said made me remember this. I personally think it's really hard to continue to get reads when you're not going to tribals. And I think that this episode's a huge like flag on if you're throwing it after not going to tribal with this crew for a pretty extensive time, you better be confident. You better understand what's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a really good point. It's almost like the game reset.
Yeah,
it's like the first tribal again.
Yeah, she was confident. I also think like Brooke is like obviously super observant because she knows she's been on the bottom for days. So that's going to make you be even more cognizant or observant of what's happening. And so she obviously saw Aisha trying to throw the challenge, and she's like, well, no one would be doing that unless they're really trying to get rid of me. So like, I definitely think Brooke, it just shows how good of a player she is. So then we have Laws getting conflicted about Beauty and the Beast. So I think this kind of leads to Brooke playing her idol as well, because Laws was kind of just being super flaky. Like I think at that point you it's better to not risk it if Laws is being so like transparently like flaky on this entire vote, because you don't want to get eliminated by one vote.
I got one statement here that we heard from a special someone like 2 weeks ago. This starts to make sense of why Harry told Lottie. Laz is like this middle player. She's gonna not be out there to take these risks. You want me at a swap. I almost feel like Lottie has kind of lost some grip on the game ever since that, and it's kind of funny just watching it unfold a little bit like a book. Like, if Harry was there, what would have happened with Lottie? Like, would Lottie have been included? Would Lottie have more of a grip on this track? You know what I mean? It's funny to look back at kind of the consequences of the game, and then you come to Laz being like the one determining factor for this group of five, and she obviously doesn't go with Lottie. So it's funny looking at it.
Yeah. I think with Laws, it's like I think she ends up making the right decision to end up going with Beauty and the Beasts anyways. It's not gonna matter regardless. But I think for her it makes the most sense to jump in with like that alliance. So
it was surprising to me how much Lottie did kind of drift into the background during this swap, because she was such a big player in the pre-swap, and she's kind of in the background. And to be honest, when she popped back up, I was like, oh shit, yeah, like she was one of our main characters. Where's she been? Also, we get our second name slip of the season after Pastor. I can't remember what his name was, but
Daniel.
we have Aisha slipping up and telling Ben that the vote is Ben, and she's like, oh no, I mean Brooke. I love that Ben says, yeah, not Ben, I like that guy.
Oh, I love when people slip up more. Like we definitely need more like Pastor Daniels in terms of just like
that was it.
Yeah, letting people just like slip up, and it just causes so much fun and chaos. It reminds me of Philippines when like Carter goes up to Jonathan Penner's I think it's gonna be Katie or Penner, and Penner's like, well, I sure hope it's not Penner. Or I'd hate for it to be Katie or something. It's like Penner's so great.
It's even better when it's that far into the game. Like, when you're at like a merge and you just slip up, you're like, oh, what the hell's wrong with me?
Yeah. So we get to tribal. Brooke plays her idol. This should be a clue, Aisha, that you maybe should play your idol just in case. And Brooke also throws a vote on Cameron as a secret backup to save Ben. And this is genius, because if Aisha does play her idol, then it can save Ben, because I'm assuming at that point they switch to Cameron. So yeah, 4-3-1-1. Asha's blindsided regardless. Brooke didn't necessarily need to play the idol, but it was a good assurance policy.
I don't think Brooke's ever played an idol correctly.
I don't think
in
so.
All Stars, she played it for David when she didn't have to. She's played 2 this season that she didn't need to. But that's just not Brooke's game.
Right.
Like, she doesn't rely on that stuff. I think I agree with you, Jake. Like, I think it's the right call. If you're hesitant, just play it. And also, if she plays it and she doesn't have to, it means it's because she's now in the majority, which, great. I don't need the idol.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so Asha's completely blindsided. It's such a fun moment. And you get Blanche as her face just drops, and she's like, oh shit, why did I just give my idol to Aisha?
I, honest to God, did not, like, I think Aisha didn't know, like, that she was, like, a target. I, like, 100% think that even if there was, like, an inkling that, maybe she was on the bottom, I bet you she thought it was someone else, like that, like, maybe Cameron or, like, even Lottie. Like, watching it, it's just like complete shock. Like, all of them are like, wow, like what the hell just happened? And maybe they just spent too much time kumbaya, no tribals, you know what I mean? They just did not get the read that there was a split. So, and she completely forgets about the idol in her bag too. It's just the icing on the topping. She's in such shock.
I mean, she's just expecting Ben to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they just think it's a really easy vote that everyone's on board with. And also it's just like I really love Aisha, but it is satisfying when you see someone that is so confident it all just flip on them. And like at tribal council, Aisha's not even remotely trying to hide that Brooke's going home. She's almost like taunting her in like a light-hearted way, but like, yeah, you're going home tonight, Brooke. I do really like that Cameron is the only one that kind of sees the iceberg on the horizon, where he's like, Brooke's a good player and she's known she's been on the bottom for a week, and you're telling me she's done nothing? Like, I really like that Cameron was the only one that saw that coming. But one last thing on Asher, I do really want to say, I have so much respect for how she reacted and responded to this huge blindside. Like her face like lit up. You could see she's a huge fan that respected the move, and she went out with such grace. And I was like, that's how you want to be. And at that point I was like, that's who you want on the jury. I would want Asher on the jury because that's a player that's not going to be bitter, and we need more players like that. So respect to Asher.
True. All right, we're gonna get to episode 11, our non-elimination episode, and we get back to camp, and Lottie is pissed at Simon. She will only trust him if Jackson is out, which Simon is not going to do.
How are you gonna tell someone that while you're on the bottom of a?
Yeah, this is bad play by Lottie.
I don't know if you're on the bottom, you're not really in the place to make demands.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed in Lottie here because I think she's better than this. Like, I didn't expect her to be such an emotional player, like, in response to a blindside. Obviously, not even a blindside on her, but being left out. Obviously, that's going to hurt, but she knows the game. And even if you're hurt, like, just don't show it. You got to no-sell that shit.
Yeah. Austin, your thoughts on Lottie here?
Dude, she's just been falling down a little bit. Like, kind of what Michael said. We know she's better than this. I think it was just emotional. You know, she probably believes Simon's her number one. She got left out. She's upset as hell. She's kind of just debriefing like her emotions to Simon, probably like, hey, this is probably the only way you're getting my trust back. Like, I can understand it a little bit because like I have emotional like outbreaks when something horrifically doesn't go my way. So like sometimes maybe the best thing is just to get it out and then restart like once you get it out with like someone you trust, you know. So I get it. In the game of Survivor, that's not probably the best way to go about it because you can spook people, and you know Simon could be like shit and I don't know about Lottie, but at the end of the day, I guess we'll find out what happens like going forward.
Yeah, I just find it funny because Lottie's been acting like, oh, Simon's just like my golden retriever, that he's just gonna do whatever I say, and then I'll ditch Simon when I no longer need him. Like, I just think it's funny that she's so pissed now after she's been kind of just like treating Simon this way in like her confessionals and stuff. So,
can I also mention on Simon as well? Just I love this guy so much. Even though sometimes he might frustrate me, like how can you not root for the guy? And the beginning of this episode where Simon celebrates the fact that he was able to pull off a move without a rake hitting him in the face it made me laugh so much. It was like he's like the sideshow Bob of Survivor, just walking into rake after rake after rake, and he finally did a move. Simon did it.
Indeed. Let's all celebrate for Simon. All right, so we then get back to the bounty camp, and so Mark says he's aware that Faith and Keely are plotting behind his back. So very, very interesting, obviously set up for what's going to happen in the next episode. And then we also have Keely and Richard. They form the board of directors as if we didn't need more alliances with names like you know, this isn't really going to pay off because Richard's going to do what he does at the end of the episode. But yeah.
Not pay off yet. Like, they're still in the game. I could see Keely getting over it. Again, I just love Rich. Mm-hmm. He was great this week.
He's even growing on me.
He even like manipulates Mark and like he sows those seeds of doubt with him where he like sneaks up to Mark like Darth Sidious, and he's like, "Have you noticed how close they've become?" Like Faith and Keely, and you can just see Mark the clock just whirring in his head, and then he just slips back off into the shadows. Rich is great.
Yeah.
See, Mark's smart to the point where he'll notice that stuff when someone brings it up too. So like Rich knows, like going to Mark, this is a good idea. Like Mark's not gonna just go run to his little ladies and be like, "Oh my God, Rich just so," like, no. If he actually gets some reasonable like advice, he's gonna take it and hold on to it, and that's exactly what he does with these girls. Which, good move, Rich. Like he's growing on me also. I will admit, at the beginning of the season, he was probably one of the lowest on my I care about chains. Now he's grown on me, so.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because like I haven't been sure with him on my draft team either of like early on how Rich is gonna do, and now it's like I actually like I'm rooting for Rich a little bit more. So like now I'm like, you know, I mean him and Simon I think are in great spots now. So should be.
Rich is gonna. It's unfortunate though because even Rich gets to the end. Like, is someone gonna? I mean, not only is he rich, his name is Rich. Like, is someone going to give him more money? Like, even if he plays the best game in the world, can he win? I hope
Yeah.
so. I think people should be allowed to win, even if they're already doing well for themselves. Like, I'd be happy with it.
I think Australian Survivor I feel like will be different than US Survivor. I think like people in Australia would probably respect Rich's game more. I just from how like the past juries have voted in Australian Survivor, and like I don't think that really matters to them. Obviously, we had like Australia versus the world. Parvati's already won $1 million. They were willing to give her more because she played a great game. So, but yeah, so we then get to the next immunity challenge, and this is the puzzle. And Baron gets back to their winning ways. We also get, is this the one where Blanche starts doing like cartwheels towards David, and David's like, "Whoa, Blanche!" Like,
where did that come from?
Yeah, I was like,
that was
whoa.
crazy.
She's so funny.
Also, this is when David uses a Survivor term, and he calls it big move-itis. I didn't expect to hear that on Australian Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, David's one of those that knows what big move-itis is, because I feel like David has definitely gotten a bunch of it before.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, we get back to the camps, and so Caleb and Sally are the primary targets. We also have Simon wondering if Richard is safe, because we do have him like whispering to Mark more and being like, "Is Richard safe?" And Mark's like, "Yes." So
can we talk about this? Because what's so funny is for the first 3-4 episodes, Rich was the name that everyone threw out as like we could always just take out Rich. No one really cares about him. Like Rich was Harry's like pull of no one's that attached to Rich. To all of a sudden, in this tribe swap, every single person on his original tribe is like, "We've got to protect Rich. We all love Rich."
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense from what we'd seen in the edit, but apparently he's way more liked than we realized.
yeah, good on Rich. Austin, your thoughts on this?
I mean, I just think it's odd that they bring it up so much to Mark, because like you even start to see Mark a little bit. He's like, I don't want to hold on to Simon's like +1. Like this is starting to get weird. Like, why are they so attached to this guy? Like, is there something we're missing? So I don't know. It's sometimes like a double-edged sword when you're doing this type of stuff. Like, hey, my boy, protect, my other boy. And then Mark's like, this is the 5th time you've told me. Do I really want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, you start to get some doubt. So I kind of get it.
Yeah. I definitely get it too. So we're gonna get to tribal council, and I jinxed it last week, being like, we've gotten no non-eliminations so far in the season. We might not get them.
You knew.
Oh
you
boy,
knew
I was wrong. David reveals. I was hoping that he'd do a JLP and be like, well, but tonight is a little bit different. He did his own thing though, so I can respect that he didn't just take from JLP. But yeah, we get the reveal that we're getting Redemption Beach. And this is something, Austin, you brought up all season of like, it'd be cool if they had a Redemption Island. So yeah, they reveal the 3 highest vote getters will be going there. and will battle it out for a chance to stay in the game, basically. And so, yeah, I mean, your guys' thoughts. I mean, we'll get to we can talk about some of the fun quotes. We have, Mark calling Keely a mole.
Oh my god.
So like, there's some fun stuff that happens at this tribal council. What are your guys' thoughts?
This was good. This was a good tribal. They were not at all prepared for anything like, oh, 3 people are going to this redemption beach. Like, they were pooping their pants. You could just tell. Zero clue. People were getting pulled aside, called names. Oh my god, that mole part. I literally was cackling when I watched that. I was like, there is no way Mark just called you out and just like that. But no, this was set up well, I think. At first, in my head, I was like, oh my god, they're doing Redemption Beach. They're all, going to be fighting for a chance to stay in the game. That's kind of what I was under the impression of. Like, they're out, they have to get back in. I'm like, god damn it, why the hell did they do 3 of them on this? Well, they kind of cliffhangered us, and I kind of like it because it was a completely different angle than I was anticipating. So yeah, like Michael kind of said it at the beginning, this was probably one of his favorite types of non-elim, episodes, and I think I agree, to be honest. It was one of the better, if not the best one I've seen in Australian Survivor.
Yeah, it was the better version of what they did in All Stars, funny enough. So David probably, got the idea of being like, I guess I don't know how much pull David has in production, but like as much as like Jeff Probst, but like I have to feel like David probably brought some ideas, and I feel like this is one that David would bring over from the season that he won. So
he even says to Mark, like, maybe going to redemption could be a big move. Is that something you'd be interested in? Which is exactly the bullshit lie that he sold to Zach to get him to volunteer to go to exile in his season, even though David wasn't willing to do it because it would be stupid. And we get a Haley Leak reference, which is nice. Like, going into this tribal as well, we get the 3 wise women bickering about Mark and like how Mark's always dictating and Mark's in control. But I just don't really understand it, because Mark really isn't. The girls have had all the power this entire time, and I don't understand why it always seems to be pushed onto Mark that like Mark's the one that's doing all this. So he's kind of just been a loyal ally this entire time, and he gets pushed into this situation where all of a sudden one of them has to go, otherwise we'll get into the next episode, I'll just tell you I'm going to vote you out. But this entire tribal was amazing, because essentially, I mean, 1 vote could send you to exile. And I really, really love how Rich and Kayla played it as well, where they have that little side conversation after most of the chaos has happened of like, we can just pick who we want to go there with. Worst case scenario, we're both going, let's just pick our challenge competitor and we can just vote for Sally, which kind of screws up the numbers. And the numbers of this was wild. I was so confused. They didn't show the vote confessionals at the end of the episode as well. So I had to like do some like Poirot detective work to work out who everyone voted for. It does tell us in the next one. But the biggest confusion was that Keely actually voted Sally, because there was 3 votes on Sally, and I just didn't see that coming. I don't know how that benefits her.
Yeah, I don't really understand it either, to be honest. It's like, why are the wise women turning on each other? Like, they talk about sending Rich and Mark there as well, and then they don't do that. Like, it's just so odd. Because they really should be, taking that shot instead of just simply weakening Mark. Like I'm so tired of the like weakening the power player that they're trying to take out, or that they perceive as, because as you said, Mark is a very loyal player to his alliances, and
I think that comes from like Mark freaked them out.
Yeah,
it was amazing that moment where he calls her a mole.
yes,
Like the look on her face, especially because Face was between them when he said it. Her face is just like, oh shit, this is kicking off. But like that, the vote would have been Mark, and he got the intel from Caleb, and he managed to not get his name put down once in the urn. Like, this worked out perfectly for Mark. Couldn't have went better.
Yeah. I mean, he's a diplomat. I think he knows how to negotiate and freak people out in a discussion. Like, I think that's his bread and butter. All right, so let's head into episode 12. So we hit the Redemption Beach. Caleb, Sally, and Keely are sent there, and we get the key search. And we, of course, have Caleb screeching about finding the key and not being able to open the chest. And I was like, I felt like it could go that way, but I was almost like, I thought Caleb was going to be the one to open the chest and they only had one key. So like, I almost thought that was going to be the case, but it's better like they had like only, or they had like multiple keys and only one person was going to get like the right key. So from the multiple that were out there. So
I mean, we have to talk about my favorite moment of the episode, which is before the key search, where Caleb decides it would be a good idea to freak everyone out in the dead of night on Redemption Beach by telling them the story of the woman that got eaten alive by coconut crabs when she fell asleep on a coconut crab island. And you see them all just being like, yeah, thanks for telling me that story before I'm about to go to sleep here.
it's so funny. Okay,
They're so happy that Caleb's out there with them, just telling them ghost stories about people being eaten by crab. Yeah, he's funny, man. He doesn't get like that type of communication can just like make people paranoid and scared, and he just does whatever he wants. It's just hilarious. But yeah, the key thing was funny. He says it's like, this is the best day of my life, and then he's always like, this is the worst day of my life. I'm like, dude, you gotta pick one struggle, or is it the best or is it the worst? I don't know, but yeah, no, the key hunt was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. So Keely ends up getting the key and a challenge advantage, which doesn't mean anything, but it's like, at least it's something. So we get to the Redemption Beach challenge, and it is a teeter-totter with blocks, and Keely only has to place 4. Caleb and Sally have to place 5, and Caleb ends up winning, so he gets back in the game, and Sally and Keely will head back to Redemption Beach till the next immunity challenge. And then they will join the losing tribe with no vote and can still be voted out. So I get what they're doing here. I almost think I slightly would have preferred if just like 2 people won their way back in and one person that lost was just out. But I also get like it's probably a little bit more fair to allow them to get like back in. With a twist if you're doing like 3 people with the highest votes are getting sent there. So what are your guys' thoughts?
I actually way preferred it.
Yeah,
I think this is way more interesting. Obviously, the crazier side of things is that if they end up going onto the other tribe, because that's like a whole new dynamic, but it ends up working out that we just get the same tribe dynamic that we originally had. They all end up going back there. But yeah, it was a fun way of doing it. I don't like seeing people just go out because of a challenge.
right.
It's
that's
just
true.
that's not Survivor. That's the challenge, right?
Yeah,
That's a different show. Let it be voted out. And even like Caleb wins his way back into the game, but he could also have been voted out of that tribal. It's essentially just turned back into a regular tribal with some votes taken away.
yeah, I get that too, because like it did cause good drama, and like I think it did make this vote more interesting. So I can amend my statement because I understand it, but I also I don't know, it's just like I would prefer people to just not lose their votes at all, but that's just me having watched US Survivor in the new era and not being a fan of that aspect. So
at least there's a reason why these players lost their vote.
right.
Yeah. US it's just arbitrary.
Right.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm at least good with how this approach went by with the no votes, because like you got taken out, you lost, your ability to vote with being sent to Redemption or Beach, and then you didn't win, so now you're just kind of fodder, kind of not, like you're whatever the tribe you go to ends up wanting to do with you. And like I guess that's kind of the fun part of them going back to their original tribe line, like tribal or tribe before like the Redemption Beach, because you kind of get to strategize with these two as like Faith and Mark. Like you actually can have a little bit of actual combo, whereas if they just got sent to the other tribe, they would be like working to like tell people why they need to be kept around, like just kind of working much more. So I was fine with what happened.
Yeah. All right, so then Mark is telling Simon to protect Keely, as both tribes are considering throwing the challenge, as Baron is thinking of throwing it and getting rid of Keely, and Bounty is like, well, maybe we want to throw it as well, and keep Keely in the game. So very interesting differing strategies here. And we are going to get to the immunity challenge, and it's getting coconuts and then holding on to the nets. So you have Simon and Mark holding onto the nets, and you have to throw them in the nets. We've seen this challenge many times before. And Mark cannot hold on as long as Simon. So Bounty heading back to Tribal Council. I mean, this Bounty tribe, it's funny with this twist, since we're now at the end of the pre-merge of like, you would think the Baron tribe is going to lose a lot because they have nothing, but it's the opposite, and the Bounty tribe just cannot catch a break, it feels like. So it's just really interesting how this twist ended up working out this season.
Yeah, it just so happened that one tribe at the swap also just got all the challenge beasts.
Right.
Like, they just got all the buff men and women, basically. And now this other tribe struggling to keep up. Like, it's kind of like sad to watch, because that tribe's like, God damn it, like, just lose, like, we can't stop, like, it's not stopping, but that's the game for you.
Yeah.
Before we get to Scrabble, it took me 2 hours and 15 minutes to watch this episode because I paused to make I've got like 3 pages of notes on this one episode alone. I was like,
Oh,
it was
boy.
like A Beautiful Mind, like the wall with all the string. Because there was so much going on.
Yeah.
Like, what I was most confused about, or like interested by, the whole like positive hostage situation that was going on before immunity, where they've got Keely, like, look after Keely, look after the rich. But we've already seen that Mark was willing to lose Keely and considering taking her out. Like, was this almost like reverse psychology from Mark, in that we see Simon saying, hey, kind of like the same thing with the rich thing, do we want to keep this person's closest ally around? So was Mark subtly trying to steer the vote onto Keely by suggesting, hey, maybe you save Keely, because that's exactly what would have happened if that tribe ended up going to tribal.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting. I mean, let's get now to this. Maybe the dumbest move of the week is Faith tells Mark she doesn't want to sit next to him at the end of the game, wouldn't be able to beat him. I don't know why you're telling somebody this at the end of the pre-merge, right before merge. Like, hold off on that, or I mean, never tell someone that you're not thinking of going to the end with them, because that's a one-way ticket out of the game, as we're gonna see. And I do find it interesting as well, because then Faith is like, she doesn't want to take the shot at Mark, but then she's also like basically like throwing Sally under the bus. So I don't know. I don't really get Faith's game in this episode. I think she absolutely bought herself that ticket out of the game.
Oh yeah. I think she's just like one of those type of people that are just absolute yappertons. Like, they just talk and talk and talk, and it goes off tangent, and she just obviously says the worst thing she could have said to Mark, and like, I want to vote you out, I know you beat me at the end. Like, I can understand like your thought process on it. Like, sure, Mark's like very reputable, but you're saying it out loud, and you're saying it to like the wrong individual. Like, you need to not, because I honest to God don't know, like, at least from my POV, like, I'm watching this and I'm like, Mark's not gonna get rid of you if you just don't shut up. Like, and you keep going and you keep going. And now he's paranoid as hell. And Rich is already talking in his ear. It's so bad. There's so many red flags. And it sucks, because Faith was doing good until this, I feel like. So.
Yeah, she was. I'm shocked that she's gone at the end of this. Like, or
Mark
like
wanted Keely, if I'm not mistaken, a little while ago. Like, it was never Faith until now. So
right.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted Keely, and then he wanted Sally. Like, Sally, I think, was going to be gone at the end of this episode, had Faith just not said what she said. So, then we get Mark, Richard, and Caleb are talking about taking out Faith in Operation Wave. So another name for something, which is fun. And yeah, Richard is going to plant a vote on Sally. So, you know, we get a little bit of questions of like, you know, Faith tells Mark that Sally wants him out. So is Mark now going to switch it to Sally? So we get to tribal council, and
Can I make one quick note of what you
Yeah.
just said? So that's the other part that makes me so question what the hell Faith was on
Yeah.
during this episode. It's almost like she found some peyote or something on the beach and just smoked something, because she completely turns it into a whole different world of talk to Mark, where she's like, "Oh yeah, Sally's not going to work with us." Like literally, like she never just told Mark hours ago that she wants him gone and all this crap. I'm like, Faith girl, what are you doing? Like, this is what you should have been saying like all along, not all this crap that you just put into Mark's head. You already know he's paranoid of everything. Like, he's jealous of you already. So like he's you got the girls talking to each other. Like, you should know by now that this man is paranoid. So yeah, I don't know. I was so mad that she was doing it, and then I'm like, God damn you! Why did you say it in the first place?
Right. Yeah. It's a crazy decision here. So we get to tribal, and so it ends up in a tie. I'm like, when the second Sally name came up, I'm like, oh, did they then decide to go Sally instead? And we're pushing, you know, Faith's demise off another week. And no, then it ends up in a tie. And so Faith is then trying to convince Richard and Caleb to not vote her out. We get the most savage Caleb moment within her like eyesight. He just goes like that, slits his throat. I'm just shocked and not shocked at the same time, because it's totally Caleb being a chaos gremlin to do something like this. But also, like, what are you doing? Like, you're just like being that savage. It's great.
Isn't it funny to you guys that she's pleading to the two people that like she shouldn't be? She like Mark's sitting right in front of
Right.
She has zero clue that it's Mark.
Right. Yeah. Well, because she says, I mean, we're gonna get to it, but like her words to Mark are like, "You should have voted me out," and he's like, "I did." So like,
the savagery in this episode is crazy.
Yeah, it's so wild. So yeah, Faith is then gonna get voted out on the revote, completely blindsided. We get that savage cold line from Mark, and then Faith in her final words is like, you know, it was good for Mark to take me out because I would have been coming for him. Well, then you screwed yourself, girl. Like, come on. So, closing words on Faith.
Well, I mean, I just don't understand any of what Faith did, but like, Mark was paranoid, but it was righteous paranoia. Like, she was giving him every reason to be paranoid. One thing we also need to mention is Mark also found an idol. So not only is Mark in about like being paranoid, but he actually can take out someone that he knows isn't going to take him to the end, and he still has a backup plan if things go badly for him. Yeah, it's just kind of got lost in my notes now. It's madness.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up Mark finding an idol. I completely forgot about that. I think like Mark having an idol now going into merge is going to be huge for him. And again, Mark is completely willing, as we've seen in his first season, to play idols for allies. I think this is going to be huge for Mark to continue to make some moves here. So we can definitely like bring up like, was this the best move to take out Faith now? I mean, judging by how she was acting and what she would have done, I think it probably is the right move. Though I think like Sally is gunning for Mark regardless. He's in a really he's in between a rock and a hard place. Like I think he's screwed regardless. I do think Sally is not going to be able to pull in as many numbers as Faith would have. But I do think the returnees are probably going to be screwed regardless, just for being returnees. So,
also, nobody was going for Faith out of that group. Sally and Keely were voting for each other, and you know, there was dissension amongst those two. So keep those two in. Like Faith was the glue that was holding that group together, and now she's gone. So, and like they voted for was it Keely that voted for? Yeah, Keely voted for Sally to go to Redemption, so that's
Right.
not trustworthy. And then she's voted for her again at
True.
the following tribal. So is Sally really going to be still loyal to Keely? I don't see why she would. So yeah, I think it's the best way to completely destabilize that group.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting watching forward because it's just going to, that whole group of 5 is just a mess, like connection wise. Like I almost feel like if I was in those shoes, I don't know how I would trust any of these people right now. At least Caleb, like probably, I can't believe I'm saying it, but Caleb might be the more trustworthy one, like of them all, and Rich, like the two I never assumed would be. You know what I mean? Like those girls, like trashed it all this episode. In my opinion, Mark just got his way, and now they're going into a swap where it could. I think it's anyone's game. Like there's no clear like. I maybe the Beauty and the Beast will do something here, right? But at the end of the day, anything could happen now. I think you can take so many different. There's people open is what I'm getting to. There's people open to play the game. So,
right.
Was this a big move from Mark? I think so. I think like he needed to get rid of Faith, like knowing all this. Do I think Faith probably works with him a little bit though in Merge? Probably. Like she kept going back and forth so much that it makes me think that she was just being too open when she didn't need to be. But I'm afraid to see what Sally could do. I think Sally could get somewhat deep in the game now, in my opinion. I think Mark was screwed regardless. I always go back and forth with the should he done Faith, should he done Sally? I don't think it matters the more I think of it.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think Mark's particularly screwed, to be honest. I think he could potentially come into a good spot. Like I say, he's got an idol and he can make relationships. There's going to be threats that he can get out. And also, it was definitely the right move as well. I think while Faith got a lot of the heat for like the things she said, Keely also was raising major red flags with Mark. She said, Sally's keen to vote you out. And I'm like, that's not happening tonight. The key word, tonight. Like, I am going to vote you out, but not tonight.
Not tonight.
That's not very reassuring to Mark to like stay loyal to this group. At this point, it's done. He has to go find something else because that's just not going to work for it.
Right. Exactly. All right. Draft check-in. So Michael, you lost Aisha. Austin, you lost Faith. So Austin is in the lead in a 5-4 lead, but it is fairly even right now. So pretty cool. Heading into the merge. Player of the episode, I'm gonna give it to Mark. He does have an idol. I do think also just like the fact of things went his way the last couple tribals, or like really a lot of these tribals went his way except for the Dawn vote. So but this week specifically, I mean these tribals went his way, so I have to give it to Mark.
I'm gonna give it to Rich. Ooh. Because I think also just the position Rich was in. Yeah. Like he came into this tribe in such a minority, in such a bad place, to the point where he's totally fine. He's just sailed his way through tribe swap, and not by not doing anything, but by being really good socially and strategically and just making the right moves at the right time and getting himself in a really solid spot to the point where it feels like everyone wants to work with him. I feel like Rich is the glue that's going to hold whatever majority comes together at merge.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin?
It's funny. Those are the two names I've been trying to figure out which one I think's my player of the week. I honestly think what Rich had to go through, it has to get nominated for this for the week for me. The guy was in a screwed spot from the start of this swap and has gotten himself to a point where not only are people trusting him, but like he looks like he could be like setting up tons of connections going into a swap, which that's what you want at the end of the day. Like you want to hit a swap and you feel good. And Rich has to be one of the only ones I can think of that are hitting a swap feeling great.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, so 2 Riches and a Mark. All right, last thing, week 5 predictions. It's going to be the merge. Looks like Caleb's starting to form a resistance against the returnees, but we know he's been anti-returnee openly. So I'm interested to see what happens. I almost think somehow the returnees are going to pull a little bit off before they do eventually get overthrown. But I almost think it's a red herring. Like I think we're going to lose some more newbies initially at the merge. So what about you guys?
What I love is I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like this season's so up in the air and anyone could take control, so that's really fun. I do think Lottie is going to cause some damage. I think the Beauty and the Beast, like going into merge, she's now burnt everything to the ground. She's like, I'm going to start afresh, and I think Lottie's going to maybe like Lottie and Mark get together and cause some damage. So that would be fun.
Yeah, agreed. Austin?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like anything I can expect here. I guess like I'm just gonna say like I assume the first person voted out here is not jury. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. I maybe I'll just throw this hot take out because I'm kind of feeling it. I think a returnee is gonna go home this next week. I don't know which episode. I'm hoping they make jury at least, because I definitely want to see all three of them on the jury at this point. Well, not like I'm just saying if they go home, I want to see them go on the jury. But
right.
Yeah, it's just hard because you think one way someone on the Beauty and Beast could get like jumped by the remaining on that tribe flipping, but then you have this other tribe that could work with some of you just don't know. So those are kind of just my only predictions. Maybe Mark plays his idol, saves himself a day, and then is back to a minority, or maybe he flips the game and jumps Simon. I don't know. Like, it could be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will talk about that next week. So like, share, comment, subscribe, most importantly, and let us know your thoughts on Australian Survivor so far. With that, we will see you all next time for more Australian Survivor Redemption on the Tribe of Nerds.